Today we are going to learn lab number 9, Java Persistence API CRUD operation. What is CRUD operation? How to create the data. That is, we are going to insert the data in the table, the database, read, update and delete. What is the first step we are going to do? First we are going to create the Java application. Now file, new project, Java with Ant. What is the category? Java with Ant. Simple Java application we are going to create. Java application. What is this one? It is name called Lab 9. Okay, the name called Lab 9. Okay, after that, what is the main class? Main class is main only. See, create main class. It is default with your project name. I'm going to put main. Therefore, what I changed, main class name changed to main. Click finish. That is the first step. Once if you click finish, if you check your project, say simple Java application, that means what you have done in the last courses. And it is a library, it is added only JDK 11. Okay, what is the next step? Select the service tab, connect JDBC sample. Okay, therefore I go to the services. Okay, services, not sample. I'm going to make sun app serve sample, right? Because it is already connected. Now I disconnect. I'm going to connect. See, not app, not sample, sun app serve samples. Small change I made here. Okay, right click, connect. Once connected, now we are going to create the new table name called employee. Go to the app tables. Okay, right click, create table. What is the name of the table? Employee. Okay, after that, what is the field? It is id. I want to add the column. Name of the field is id. It is integer and it is a primary key and also not null, as well as it is unique. Okay, primary key must be unique and not null. Next, we am going to add the name. Okay, again second column is the name and the type is varchar. The size I'll put 40 and the last one is called surname. Okay, therefore I create the table with three columns. One is ID, another one is name, and last one is the surname. And that ID is integer, name and surname is the what? It is a varchar, and the size is what, 40. Click OK. Now you can see that employee table is created with three columns. Okay, this is done, and the first column ID is a primary key. Open your project services, connect and check whether it is already done. Okay, here we check the table. Yes, it is created. Now, if you are going to do MySQL, you can do the step, but we are not going to use MySQL. We are going to do what we are going to do. We are going to do a Java DB, that is a derby. Therefore, no need this step 4. Step number 5, right click the project node, add the persistent unit, lab 9 PU, and select the database app serve sample, not sample. Okay, now go to the project, right click. Now we are going to add the persistent.xml file. That is a persistent unit. You can go to other, select the category persistence. Now persistent unit, select the file type persistent unit, and the persistent unit name is lab9 pu persistent unit. Accept as it is. Now select the database JDBC Derby localhost 1527 sun app serve samples. Okay, this is the one we are going to select. Just click finish. Immediately the respective required libraries added in the references added in the library, and you can see that persistent.xml is created. If you check the source, it is tell that what is the name of the persistent unit and what is the provider name, persistent provider, and what are the properties. That means what is the location of your database and what is the login, what is the password, what is the name of the driver, and what is the action to be taken. Everything it is clearly given. Now what is the next step? Right click the libraries, add the library Java database driver. Why we are adding the Java database driver? Because our driver is client driver. For this one, we must add the library. Right click library, add library. What we need? We need Java database driver. Just add library. Successfully added. See, it added the thereby jar, thereby client jar, thereby net jar. Why? Otherwise, you cannot connect to the database table. That's the reason. Now, now we are going to create the entity class from the database. That means, see, up to last lab, we created the entity class, and then from the entity class, we connect to the database. There, it will create the table. First, here we first create the table. For the table, we are going to create the entity class, automated entity class based on the table. That means, what are the columns available? The respective attributes is created in the entity class. Right click new, go to others. Okay, just type entity, it will automatically shows. See, from the category persistent unit, entity class from database. Click next. Okay, which for which class you want to create the entity, which table, for which table you want to create the entity class. Click the table, click add employee. Click next. See, this is the database table employee, and this is the name of the entity class. It will start with E, capital E, employee, and generation type is new. And the source, where is the source is given, and it is a package is lab. Where you want to put the package, it is in the lab only. We are not going to create anything. Or if you want, you can create CRUD. I'll accept the default. Click next. And collection type not collection, it is a util.list. Okay, that we are going to create the list type, not a collection type. Click finish. Immediately it will create the employee dot java, right or not? See, this is the entity class, automatically it is written. See, named queries is added, table name, and employee is implement serializable. It is annotated entity, and here what is id, column name is id, that is in the database, and the column name is name, that is in the database column name, and everything getter setter everything it is added. You are not going to do any changes. Now after that, we are going to add the following code in the main method. That means, where is the main method of the main.java? For what? To manage the life cycle of entity instances. That is the entity manager, entity manager factory, and tell that what is the persistent unit, lab 9, and then entity manager. With the help of this entity manager, you are going to manage your things. Okay, manage the life cycle of entity instances. Go to the main.java, go to the main method, and then add here. Okay, what we added now, entity manager factory, and then entity manager em equal to emf dot create entity manager. Already we seen this one previous lab. Okay, now import the respective classes. That means import. What are the classes you are going to? Entity manager factory, and persistence. What is entity manager? How to declare entity manager? EMF equal to persistence dot create entity manager factory for your persistent unit. Already done. It is there in the persistent.xml lab 9. Now after that, which one you want to manage? You want to manage this persistent unit lab 9 tables. Okay, persistent unit. Now that's the reason we have entity manager. Through the entity manager factory, you call create entity manager, then immediately it is entity manager is created. Now transaction begin. Which what are the transactions you want to perform? The following transaction. What are the transactions we are going to create? We are going to create the data. That means add the data in the table. What table we created? Employee. Read the data from the table employee, update the table from the employee, delete the data from the table employee. We are going to perform all four operations. What is the first one? Add the following code to insert the record. First, we create the employee object, and then we add that employee object ID number 1. The name of the employee is Nasser and the surname is Salah. Okay, therefore we are going to add the following code to insert the data in the table. Okay, employee, and then right, this is for create. Now what is the name of the employee is Nasser. First name, that is a first name we called the name. Second name is what? Second name is, that is a surname. Surname is Salah. Now after that, how to perform the create operation? Just just call the method persist dot employee em dot entity manager object dot persist dot employee object. Then immediately it will update the data in the table Nasser Salah. Okay, done. Now I want to read this data what we added just now in the database table. How, what is the code? First we create the list of of the the object type employee list, create named query, employee find all, employee class get list. That means we are use the named queries what we that means what we created in the entity class. Using that one, where it is this one named employee dot named query is available, it is available in this entity class from the database. See, this is the named query employee dot find all. So once if you call this one, immediately it will search the employee table in the database and get the result set. Okay, that is create and execute statement, it will perform in the single. Now add the import the respective class libraries, and after that using the for statement we are going to print the list of employee from the table. That means using that named query, we search all the data available in the table employee. And after that, for employee, we create the object. This is a special type of for statement. It will increment as per the object. If object is available, it will print. If not available, it will return empty and come out from the for loop. Here we will not put any increment or any initialized value. This will work according to the object. Okay, first we print the ID of the employee. Next, get the name of the employee and get the surname of the employee available in the database table employee. What is the next step? Next step is what? Add the code, read operation, and then run. Once if you run this one, if you don't have any error, see, right click run. I'm running, we are going to get the answer in the output. Run, if any error is there, we'll check. No error. See here ID number 1, because here ID, what is ID number and what is the name of the person? Nasser. Just now we added in the database. In the database, it is retrieved from the database, not from the program. You want to make sure, go to the services, right click the employee, view data. There see that before we created the empty table. Now what we added in the code, ID number is 1, name is Nasser and surname is Salah. That is updated. Now see, once you update, insert the data, we must command Y, because this ID is unique. I cannot insert again with the same ID number. You can insert another employee with another ID number, not same ID number. That's the reason we are going to command the step 10 insertion code. That means we are going to command which one, whatever we inserted, set ID 1, name, everything. We and add the following code for update operation. What is the next step? That is step number 12 is we want to update the data. That means I am going to change Nasser to same ID to Muhammad, Salah surname change to Saif. Okay, therefore I am going to perform third operation. Now two operation completed. Insert and read. Go to the main method. Now first step we must command, right or not? See, we must command the employee inserted. Okay, and transaction commit also close. All commanded. Why I commanded? Because I am going to do update operation. Okay, this is for the update operation. What is update operation? First I set the ID, and then I change the name, and then add that new employee name with the same ID number. Okay, with same ID number. Instead of Nasser Salah, I'm changed to Muhammad Saif. Now, uh, just uh, just run this program and check the database table in the table in the database, and id 1 is updated. Now right click, run file. Yes, you will not see, it will show only Nasser Salah. Why Nasser Salah? Because the old one is Nasser Salah, and the new one, see here, it is showing the Nasser Salah only. Just refresh. Now see that the Nasser is updated to Muhammad and Saif. Muhammad and Saif. Why here it is showing Nasser Salah? Because before updation, I'm printing that one. I'm reading the data. Okay. Before update, this is operation number two. Operation number two, read operation. What is the read operation? Is doing before what? Before update. That's the reason it is showing old one. But if you check in the database, it is updated. Now we'll move to the last step. What is the last step? It is the delete record. Now command the step number 11, boy, because you are going to delete. You don't want to update because already update is done. That's the reason we are going to command the step number 11. What is step number 11? Just command the set ID, set employee Muhammad, and then merge employee. See why this is the step is merge employee? Because I want to I want to uh, update the table. I don't want persist. See, in the insert we call persist method, but here we call merge method. Why we call merge method? I don't want to add new as a new data. I want to update the existing data. For update we call merge method. For insert we call persist. That means to add the data in the database. Now update operation is commanded. Now we are going to perform delete operation. Okay, what is the delete operation? That is the last step, delete operation. Okay, what is delete operation? First we find the employee from the using the find method. We find the employee of id number 1. After that we remove that employee. Okay, remove that employee. That is, E is what? The id number 1 of the in the table. Okay, after that get transaction commit done, and last step is to close this operation. Okay, to close the operation. This is why once you open the entity manager, obviously you must close. Save it and run. Obviously it will print the Muhammad Saif, because after updated, because in the last step we updated. After updated, if you call read operation, it will show Muhammad Saif. But if you go and check the table, it is Muhammad Saif. Once you refresh, it is removed Muhammad Saif. Why? Because after read, yeah, you what you done? You deleted that employee ID number 1, Muhammad Saif. That's the reason data is removed in the database. Therefore, in the today lab, what we learned how to perform the CRUD operation. That is, create, read, update, and delete operation in the table using the technology called Java Persistence API. That is the one today we learned. Thank you very much for watching this video.